What's up, baby? Happy Monday. Ryan Murphy checking in. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Me, myself, battling a little cold. Warrior. No, really, I'm a huge biatch when it comes to being sick. But thank God my beautiful fiance wouldn't allow it, so she pushed me this weekend. And anyways, here we are. So pretty much fully recovered. Still a little raspy in the voice. But I want to talk about a constant involvement and why it's so important to ask the question why. So I've been doing this process of reaching out after the goal of throwing 110 miles an hour for the last decade. I'm 28. I started when I was 19. It all started with a Google search of the word velocity at age 16 when I found out I was throwing 74 at a showcase at Boston College up in the Northeast. So from 74 at age 16 to topping at 94, and I still got room to grow. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel like I'm in the best place in terms of my process and my consistency. One of the things that I hadn't done a great job of on my own process and in the process of the guys that I was working with that were trusting me was conducting baseline assessments. And so going through an assessment and levering up with some really high quality material, Driveline Baseball's assessment gave me the opportunity to realize that there were a couple of areas of mobility that were going to keep me from being able to create the shapes and the positions that I needed to be able to get into to produce maximum power when it comes to the rotational move that is throwing a baseball, hitting a golf ball, throwing a football, whatever. Rotation's rotation. So started with the assessment, and it sucks because you never want to hear what you're not good at. But what I found was there were some areas in my hamstring mobility, there were some areas specifically in my rotational power and my lack of mobility there in my T-spine, my thoracic spine. So now when I go out and I get after it, I really know the why behind the soft tissue work I'm doing. I'm not just randomly doing it. And it's not like I didn't know soft tissue was important, but now I know, hey, look, soft tissue work for my T-spine is important because I didn't pass the bird dog mobility test, the onboarding mobility test. And until I don't pass the onboarding test of mobility for the bird dog, I'm always going to have a challenge with rotational power as it relates to my goal of 110 miles an hour. So that's why it's so important to do a baseline assessment and then have a game plan for continually inspecting what it is you expect, because otherwise you end up in a situation like me where you waste all this time. It's not wasted. I hate calling it wasted because it's still hard work, but it's not as smart of work. It's not as deliberate as it needs to be able to continue to get to that next level. So I would ask you, why are you doing what you're doing today? And then how could you do it better? If you've got your why, that's the most important thing. The why is what's kept me going for the last, like I said, 11 years or 10 years. And there's been a lot of days where I feel disconnected from my why, but I can always circle back to it. And my why when I started versus now is different, but it's still pretty similar in the sense that I feel like inside of me, I want to ding the universe and prove to myself and to others that genetics are purely a starting point, that genetic limitations don't exist, and that there's no point of thinking in a way other than thinking that you're going to be able to blast through the next barrier. Because if you think like that, if you let yourself be limited in the way that you think, you're ultimately going to sacrifice your potential in all these different areas of life, and that's not going to be good for anybody to watch you fall short of what you're capable of and what you were blessed with. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Go get it. Monday belongs to you. Own it.